ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
They built this stadium 11 years ago with the stands angled toward the field to maximize the noise. It works. Lisa Salters, what are the Saints doing to handle the sound here tonight?
Hey, Mike, well, Sean Payton was so concerned about the noise being a factor and guys not being able to communicate on the field that he texted Brett Favre and asked him how he handled the noise at the very loud Superdome when the Vikings played the Saints in the 2009 NFC Championship game. Favre shared with Payton that the Vikings had designer noise reduction earplugs custom made for that game, and Favre said it really helped. So Payton ordered up 20 of those earplugs for his offense last week. Players got fitted last Tuesday, had plastic molds of their inner ear made, and the earplugs arrived on Friday, so they had a couple of days to try them out to see how they worked with the piped-in crowd noise at practice. And according to Payton, his players loved them. The earplugs apparently allowed them to actually hear at the line of scrimmage while eliminating what Payton calls that ambient craziness. Mike?
Noise that gets elevated as 92 Masters champion Fred Couples, born here in Seattle, one of the best athletes ever born in this area, raises the 12th man flag, and they'll be measuring the sound. They once had the record for the largest outdoor stadium. Kansas City broke it last month. They'll be measuring to see if they can get to 137.5, the record here tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on the decibels and through the night explain how loud that is. 10-1 Seattle won the toss, defer the option in the second half. The ball belongs to the Saints first. Stephen Hauschka will kick it. Tavares Cadet back deep to receive for New Orleans. Love it. Off we go from Seattle. All the way through the end zone. It's a touchback. The good news for Drew Brees and the Saints, no precipitation. It's been dry all day. Slight showers in the forecast. But Brees will have a chance to throw a dry football. He's thrown any kind of football very well. Only Peyton Manning has thrown more touchdowns this year as Brees continues to break records with every game he plays. Communicating tough right from the start. So is the defense. Brandon Mebane on the tackle. No gain, no loss actually of 3 yards.
Great start for Seattle. Backside penetration. But Mike, it'll be interesting to see these Saints, how they handle this outdoor venue. It's going to get cold tonight, and it's going to get extremely loud, and these fans are relentless.
Officially, Thomas lost 4. Breeze to the air for the first time. It's Thomas down the sideline. Gets that lost yardage back, plus some more. Rather Sproles out by the 24, John.
A lot of outdoor challenges. It's going to really test their communication in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. Saints love to use their running backs as receivers. Sproles and Pierre Thomas have combined for over 100 catches, and Jimmy Graham is the go-to man. He's their top receiver. They line him up everywhere, and he can run any route that you can dream up.
65 catches thus far this year. 3rd and 7, they go on the quick count. And Brees has time. He takes a shot towards Robert Meacham downfield. Incomplete, in coverage, Richard Sherman, the outstanding Seattle corner. 3 and out, New Orleans.
This Richard Sherman allows Seattle to get away with a lot. Bump and run coverage against Meacham, one of the fastest Saint receivers, and Sherman's ball skills, his ability to play late in the down separates him in this league.
Thomas Morstead is having a very good year as a punter. And there you see the numbers. Golden Tate 4th in the league in return yards. Kick is 47. Tate returns from the 30. Gains only a yard as Issa Abdul-Quddus makes the tackle for the Saints. Now it's Seahawks ball, and here comes Russell Wilson, their quarterback. The rock group Fish has a song called Wilson, and when they played here in Seattle, they got that bass boom, boom, and then at the concerts, they yell Wilson. So the lead singer played here and asked them, hey, do that when your guy comes out, and they've started doing that. And they usually sing him off the field with a happy song, too. 21-6, has never lost here. Marshawn Lynch, a big reason why, and Lynch runs for about 3 yards, take it to the 34-yard line.
I think it all starts there tonight for the Seattle Seahawks. They want to run Marshawn Lynch. This is the most balanced team in football. They run it more than they throw it, and they're proud of that. And I would be, too, if I had a beast like Marshawn Lynch.
Michael Robinson, who's the fullback, comes out to the wide receiver spot as they spread the field, and Wilson catches that, almost not ready for it, but throws to Robinson, who has the first down into New Orleans territory at the 45-yard line, a gain of 21.
That's what Russell Wilson brings to the table. Max Unger, the center, snaps the ball on the wrong count. Nobody's even ready, not even Russell Wilson. Ball snapped, he fields it. He has the presence to escape to his right and make a big play. How much more poise do you want to see from Russell Wilson, Mike?
Well, good to have those baseball skills. Remember, drafted by Major League Baseball team, Colorado Rockies. Second baseman handled that quick short hop quite well. For the 45, he keeps on the read option. Wilson to the sideline right near a first down. The run is 10.
It's a dual threat, Mike. He's rushed for over 400 yards. The power of Marshawn Lynch and the speed of Russell Wilson allows them to run the zone read. If Junior Gillette closes, Wilson keeps the football. And you see David Hawthorne, number 57, he's got to fall back and make this tackle. Russell Wilson can drive defenses crazy with his ability to run and pass.
22nd time, John, he's run for 10 or more yards thus far this season. 35 throwing the slant. Good catch by Golden Tate. He's got a dozen yards, and the Seahawks on the move at the New Orleans 23. And Roman Harper right there pushing the chatty Tate away.
It's just a quick game. It's an isolation slant, West Coast pattern, and Golden Tate gets a great release. But Russell Wilson, with those big hands, is able to catch the ball in the shotgun and deliver it quickly and accurately. Nice work by Tate on the release.
It's first and 10. Robinson leads the way. Lynch running left. About 4 or 5 yards as they're in the red zone. This offense, John, most importantly, they've got their guys up front back.
Yeah, the offensive line's healthy. Russell Okun at left tackle's been out with a toe. Giacomini's back from a knee injury at right tackle. Even Max Unger had a concussion. He's back. But this team has a powerful running game, and Marshawn Lynch is the star. And they will take some aggressive shots in the pass game, Mike. Russell Wilson, if he sees single coverage, he's going up top.
Had Percy Harvin for their last game, but he's out for this one. That hip that was operated on in the offseason has not responded well enough after the first game action. Lynch short of the 15-yard line. Curtis Lofton pulls him down. So Marshawn Lynch was in Buffalo, ran into some problems with the Bills, was productive there. But since he has come to Seattle, has been as productive as almost any other runner in the league. You see where he is this year, closing in on a 1,000-yard season again.
Especially in the month of December. I'll bet his average in December is much better than it is earlier in the season. He gets stronger as the season unfolds.
New Orleans reacts to the three receivers right. Wilson runs left. First down. At the 12-yard line, David Hawthorne, ex-Seahawk, made the tackle.
Oh, it's another zone read. They can run it to the split inside or they can run it to the tight end side, but they're going to give the ball to Lynch. They're going to read the backside, and if Junior Gillette continues to close, Russell Wilson will shred you. Look at him reading Junior Gillette, and as soon as Gillette squeezes for Marshawn Lynch, it's an easy read for Russell Wilson, who does an excellent job protecting himself.
At the 13, toss Lynch left. That time Gillette was out there. His penetration along with Malcolm Jenkins, the captain, the safety for the Saints, making the play. And John was Russell Wilson talking. We talked with Pete Carroll. That's Tom Cable, the old Raiders coach, the offensive line coach. They knew that their ability to run the ball and slow the game down quickest could be a big benefit in getting comfortable in this big matchup tonight.
Yeah, keeping Drew Brees and that Saint offense on the sideline. Time of possession is a huge winning edge for Seattle tonight.
Second and 12 throw with time. Up top, incomplete for the tight end, Zach Miller. As Rob Ryan's defense now tries to come up with a red zone stop.
Rob Ryan's done an excellent job, Mike, utilizing his personnel. He wanted to install a 3-4 defense this year, but everybody got hurt in training camp. So he's had to adjust, and he's using multiple safeties together. You'll see 3 and 4 different safeties on the field. Kenny Vaccaro, their rookie from Texas, is the lead dog.
Vaccaro, Jenkins, Roman Harper, Raphael Bush, all on the field here. All safeties by trade. Third and 12, you see the 3-man rush. Wilson underneath. It is Lynch bounding off of Bush and others as the ball seemed to come loose at the bottom of the pile there at the 8-yard line. And the officials will pull away to see who has it. You hear blue ball being said. And it stays with Seattle, and the Seahawks will have a field goal attempt coming up.
That defense right there, that third and long, that's what Rob Ryan brings to the table. Strange sub-defenses. The ball is clearly out.
And it was Vaccaro, who we just talked about, the rookie from Texas, who knocked it free.
Very fortunate. The Seahawks have put the ball on the ground 21 times now, Mike. It has been a problem. They haven't lost many fumbles, but New Orleans is well aware that they have had a problem fumbling the ball.
And a very solid season for Stephen Hauschka. From 26 yards out, he continues his streak of not missing from short distance. First points of the night on a good drive led by Russell Wilson and Seattle. Took nearly 6 minutes. Put up 3.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Enter the Never Say Never sweepstakes for a chance to win a 2014 GMC vehicle at gmc.com/NFL. NFL Mobile. Never have the fear of missing out on football. NFL.com/mobile. And Navy Federal Credit Union. Visit us at NavyFederal.org.
In the backyard of Boeing, good idea to get all these sounds, conversation, the air horn, and the jet engine. It gives you an idea of the decibel reading of all of those elements at close range. And thus far tonight, the max decibel reading at CenturyLink Field, like standing next to a jet engine. Just a little bit louder than that. And they're not done by any stretch of the imagination. They can go all 4 quarters as well. Line drive from 8 yards deep, and Cadet will take a knee. So for the second straight time, Drew Brees and this very potent New Orleans offense will take over at their own 20-yard line. See if they can pick up their first down of the game when we come back. Seattle's terrific secondary, the Legion of Boom, missing 2 players. Walter Thurman suspended for 4 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy. He was the backup to Brandon Browner, who's been out with a groin injury, but is appealing a 1-year suspension as a 3rd and final stage offense of the league's substance abuse policy. That might be 1 year. It could be down by appeal to less than that. We don't know. He wouldn't be playing anyway because of the injury. But needless to say, that's your second and third best corner out for Seattle. So Byron Maxwell, 41. Jeremy Lane plays the nickel, number 20. 41 and 20, numbers to keep an eye on against the Saints passing offense tonight. Breeze from the 20. Throws complete. Marcus Colston. He gains 3 yards. Tackle made by Bobby Wagner.
This noise is a real problem for the way the Saints play. A lot of personnel groupings coming from the sideline, and they don't signal who's coming and going. So Drew Brees has to echo the personnel to the men in the huddle. Then he has to spit the play out. And some of these plays are hard to say. Now he's got to come to the line of scrimmage and deal with these crazy Seahawk fans.
Mark Ingram, the running back, the former Heisman Trophy winner, gains only a yard to the 25. So, John, Sean Payton has the communication right to Breeze's helmet, and what he does is he backs out, and he's telling them which personnel group is coming in the game.
Yeah, here comes another group of Saints. So Breeze has to tell the people in the huddle who stays and who goes. Look at Sean Payton. He's even using a board to try to communicate the personnel. These Seahawk fans, they know when to rev it up, too. They understand the game, and they know when the Seahawks need them.
And back in Philly, Chip Kelly's laughing. 3rd and 5. Breeze hit as he throws. It's into the hands on the free ball of Michael Bennett. Bennett, Seattle touchdown!
The Legion of Boom strikes first. Cliff Averill, free agent acquisition from Detroit, beats Zach Strief. Drew Brees held the ball, Mike. He's got to push up. He's got to check the ball down to Pierre Thomas. And Cliff Averill, who leads the Seahawks with 7.5 sacks, strikes again. The lifeblood of a Pete Carroll football team is the turnover ratio. They came in with 26. They led the NFL, and they just chalked up another.
Extra point, Hauschka. Officially credited as a sack and a fumble, and the 22-yard return for Michael Bennett is his first National Football League touchdown. And the Seahawks have a double-digit lead out of the gate, and their defense gets it done. Averill and Bennett, the 1-2 combo, picks up 6. Pete Carroll, who brings energy and enthusiasm and great passion every time he walks in the door. He's done it here with his defense. And as if it wasn't loud enough, they pegged the meter again on that touchdown scored by Michael Bennett. Now 10-0 as Hauschka kicks off. And good hang time on it. Cadet, no return. 3rd straight time Breeze and the Saints take over from the 20. It has been an awful start for New Orleans. John, these are important words to slow down a good pass rush like Seattle has.
Normally they nudge or they chip a defensive end, but right here Zach Strief got no help at all, and Cliff Averill just got the crowd in this game. They've got to send a tight end to nudge the defensive end or a back over there to chip the end to help Zach Strief. This crowd noise will be a problem if he doesn't.
From the 20, it is Ingram running to the left. He'll gain less than 2 yards as he's pulled down. Ingram, who struggled mightily, as we know, last year, and this now his 3rd season. Toe injury bothering him early on this year. But then Ingram was at least able to come back and play very well against Dallas, have that big running game, 145 yards. And that is a running back who they'll need in outdoor cold weather games, somebody who can power the ball.
Bryce Harris is checked in as an eligible tight end. He's an offensive tackle at the top of the screen. This is a play-action pass formation.
And there it is. And Breeze throws to Jimmy Graham, who spit the ball out. Incomplete pass. Ruled incomplete on the field. Graham never got a chance to come down and make a second act with the ball.
Well, this is a sail route. They clear out the deep zone with Meacham, and they want to throw a corner route in here to Jimmy Graham off a play-action pass. This is normally a play that the Saints ring up easily, but Irvin, number 51, a former free safety in junior college, shows his athletic ability, and he is bulked up, Mike, to about 260 pounds. Got to help these two tackles with some nudges and some chips. You don't want to isolate Clemens and Averill one-on-one.
Delay a game. No flag is thrown. No first down. Sproles only gained a couple of yards.
That's what Seattle does as well as anyone in football. They play a 3-deep, 4-under zone, and these linebackers are outstanding handling the underneath checkdowns. This is where New Orleans makes a lot happen with Sproles underneath. Not many guys make the open field one-on-one form tackles like K.J. Wright.
That was sitting on 0-0 for at least a second. They missed the delay of game flag there. Seattle's just fine with it. The Morstead punt, 43 yards. Tate on the run. And Golden Tate gets the block on the sideline. Flag is down, though, on the opposite side of the field, back at the 38-yard line. We'll hear from Ed Hockley for the first time tonight and see if that nice return by Tate will come back. It's 41 degrees, feels in the upper 30s.
During the return, holding by the return team, Seattle, number 20. The 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Seattle keeps the ball after enforcement. First down.
It's also sprinkling here a little bit. Cold enough that Ed Hockley's in long sleeves. No first downs for the Saints' first 3 drives.
Finds a little bit of a hole. Keeps his legs moving. He's across the 40. Midfield. 45. He's on the run. Lynch. 40. Pushes the man. 35. Look at him go. He's down to 20. 15. He could go. He is going to go. Touchdown Seahawks.
That was the moment, that great defining run, the last time that these two teams played in the playoff game here. When Seattle won the division at 7-9, that Marshawn Lynch run, a big part of the reason that Seattle was able to eliminate the defending champion Saints in that game. And it really put on everyone's radar what an impact player Lynch can be as a running back. And Seattle's continued to build around that. Now with second-year quarterback Russell Wilson. First down, 27, shot down the field towards Golden Tate. It's too long, and it's intercepted by Corey White, but knocked out. So it turns into an incompletion.
Well, that's a receiver that Russell Wilson really likes. Jermaine Kearse is a down-the-field receiver. It's a corner route. Here's Golden Tate going after Corey White. They give Tate a number of opportunities to go deep. And one thing about Russell Wilson, Mike, he'll give you a chance to become a great receiver. He'll give you an opportunity to make a play on the ball. That time, Corey White, who's filling in for Jabari Greer, did a nice job.
It's the same concept as a receiver going to the ground. You have to complete the act of the catch. He did not, so no much-needed turnover for New Orleans there. Wilson throws to Lynch. Dancing away from Gillette. And fans go nuts when Lynch has a player coming at him. Gain of 9.
Excuse me, not just as a runner, but as a receiver. Just a simple check down. Russell Wilson's going to go through his progressions, and he's going to check the ball down to Marshawn Lynch. He's not only a physical runner, but he is an elusive back. Hard to find that combination. Special player.
And on 3rd and 1, he comes out, and Robert Turbin, the 5'10" back, is in there with no leading fullback. Wilson tossing, wide open, and in the clear for Zach Miller. What a pirouette by Miller, down to the 4. David Hawthorne saved the touchdown.
I think Junior Gillette got away with a roughing the passer penalty, but they completely fool the Saint defense with a bootleg. Diversionary motion goes one way, and out comes Russell Wilson the other. Motion goes this way, and the bootleg's coming out to the right. Nobody covers the tight end at the bottom of the screen on a corner route. And I thought Gillette planted Russell Wilson after the throw.
Right on it, John. Gain of 60 for the tight end Miller. And Wilson has to take timeout. Happens so often. You rush down the field after a long play. Play clock running against you. That's about the only thing that's gone wrong for Seattle in the first almost 12 minutes of this one, as the mist picks up and the Seahawks are just at home and looking great out of the gate. Go down to the field, Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike, yeah, well, as you know, there was a possibility of rain in the forecast, and it is here. It started about 15 minutes ago. So far, it may look like it's a light mist to you, but it's coming down pretty good. Really fine drops, but it's coming down pretty good. Something to keep an eye on. Could be a factor if it gets any worse.
All right, Lisa, the forecast throughout the week has been for heavier rain on the other side of the Snoqualmie Pass towards eastern Washington. They've had snow. Snow level is supposed to drop to almost sea level as the temperature drops below freezing tonight. But this inclement weather, a lot better to get when you have a 17-0 lead. And Seattle trying to get there right now. Lynch, right. Gain of a couple of yards to the 2. And John, you see on that play what Ray Lewis told us in Monday Night Countdown. You better bring a bunch of your friends to the party to stop Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, that's for sure. I love watching Russell Wilson in these tight red zone situations. Offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell normally calls 2 plays. Russell calls one in the huddle. He'll alert it with another at the line of scrimmage. If the Saints try to stop the run, he'll alert it and throw the football. For yourself.
Lynch left. Again, the initial penetration. Ramon Humber was 53 at the bottom of that pile, holding on for the rest of the Saints to come along.
I really like Curtis Lofton, the ex-Atlanta Falcon. They're bigger inside than they have been. Lofton, Hawthorne, 57, the ex-Seattle Seahawk. Hicks, 76. They're big inside. They welcome the challenge of Lynch in this running game, but it's this quarterback that's maddening to defenses.
3rd and goal on the slant. It's Miller for the touchdown.
Before you can say Russell Wilson, it's 17-0 Seattle. He's run the zone read. He's thrown the quick game in the shotgun, and he's thrown the ball down the field in a short yardage situation. Russell Wilson's an MVP type candidate. Just at the bottom of the screen, it's going to be a quick lookie, and Russell Wilson's going to catch the football and throw an accurate strike for a touchdown.
With that big body of the tight end Miller, who had the 60-yard reception on the outside. He had nobody coming close to him. Extra point in these wet conditions. All the snap and hold. Handled well. What a start for Seattle, up 17. 3 drives, no first downs for New Orleans, only 9 yards in their 9 plays. Meantime, Seattle has done a great job with their 16 plays, 134 yards. And John, obviously the 1 turnover that led right away to the touchdown. Total control, up 17-0. And Sean Payton, as the head coach, remember he missed all of last year with the suspension, hasn't been down by this many points since October of 2011 against St. Louis. Been a while since the hole's been this big.
Let's take a look. Remember last year the Saints in bad weather really struggled to throw the football in New Jersey, and the Giants had a big win. Earlier this year, I thought the Saints and Drew Brees struggled in the same stadium against the Jets. The noise got to them, the weather got to them, and they played their worst offensive game of the year in poor weather. And this qualifies as a similar forecast.
From the 20, going to the air. It's caught by Thomas. Pierre Thomas fighting for the extra yard as Bobby Wagner tackles him. It's a gain of 9.
And that's what you have to do. First downs after first downs against the zone defense like Seattle. You've got to continue to move the chains. They have not given up a lot of big plays, and Sean Payton knows it.
And they don't know this feeling, Payton and Brees together. No first downs in the first 3 drives since they started together 2006 season. They've never had an offensive start this slow. Hard half yard for Pierre Thomas, but it looks like it's short of the first down at the 30-yard line.
You know, the Seahawks play a 3-deep zone with strong side rotation over and over. And the man that is the strong side rotator is a 240-pound safety named Cam Chancellor. It's going to be hard to run the football into that 8-man front. Earl Thomas is in the post, and Cam Chancellor rotates on the strong side and says, please run the football.
Mark Ingram, the running back. Give to the up back, Jed Collins, and a former linebacker early in his days playing at Washington State, about 290 miles east of here. Became a running back, end of his career with the Cougars in Pullman, and has made that impact with the Saints. And after 14 and a half minutes, finally a first down for New Orleans. And that'll be the only thing that they can take home with them after the first quarter. Let the wet and loud folks of the great Northwest take us to break after one. 17-0 Seattle on Monday Night Football. The holiday decorations adorning the Space Needle and the other spots here in Seattle. As we begin the second quarter, Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters. 10-1 Seattle with a tremendous start. 17-0. It's the biggest hole at the end of a first quarter since the era of Breeze and Peyton began in 2006 in New Orleans.
Well, this is the go zone. I'd be aware of the shot play if I were Seattle.
Their own 41. It is Breeze looking left, and he fires to Robert Meacham. And a good gain on first down.
It's that sluggo seam they're famous for. They're looking for Earl Thomas back here in the deep end. They're going to run a double move and try to get Graham down the seam and move Earl Thomas in the post. But Seattle checked to a 4-deep zone that time out of respect. I can't wait to see Breeze go after Thomas when he's in the post by himself.
The boot, Breeze looking, look out, goes to the sideline, will only gain a half yard. Bruce Irvin was closing on Pierre Thomas, who made the reception.
Look at Earl Thomas talking to Meacham. He was ready for that two-back play action pass. Earl Thomas, watch him, number 29, he's going to see Meacham cross his face. He's not going to look into the backfield and be fooled whatsoever. And as soon as he recognizes that they got the job done, he's telling Meacham, I'm ready for you. I'm a grown man now. I'm not a rookie like I was a couple years ago. He has been waiting for Drew Brees and the Saints for some time.
Now that jump by Cliff Averill going to cost his team a first down. Unless it was induced by a Saint. Didn't look that way, though.
Neutral zone infraction defense, number 86. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's ridiculous. That's the one thing about the Seahawks I think they need to clean up, and that's the penalties. And Averill is clearly off early, but they have had a real problem with penalties, almost 8 per game. They must clean that up. You do not give Drew Brees any free passes.
From the 47, great pursuit on the run by Thomas and Michael Bennett, who had the touchdown earlier. This is a player who was undrafted in Seattle, had him early on. He only played 3 games with those Seahawks, John, back in 2009. Then Tampa Bay claimed him. He's come back to Seattle this year.
Well, Michael Bennett's going to come from the backside and just run this play down. He's unblocked. Obviously, he's going to make a lot of those plays. 2nd and 9. And the Seahawks have their speed group out here to rush Drew Brees.
He gets some time, setting up the screen. This is Thomas trying to work hard to get inside the 40. got out of that arm tackle of Bruce Irvin and brought down where it'll be 3rd and about 3.
Well, we said it in the pregame, seams and screens. And you're going to see Ben Grubbs, the left guard, do a nice job getting a piece of a Seattle Seahawk on this screen pass right there to give Pierre Thomas an opportunity to create a 3rd down and 4. And this is where the Seahawks love to challenge you. Sherman at the bottom of the screen, Maxwell at the top. The Legion of Boom has made their name in these situations.
Breeze throws across the middle of the big receiver, Colston, and Marcus Colston with the 1st down at the 36, used all of that 6'4" body.
Colston is very effective when they put him in these tight splits. He gets position with his big body between he and the ball, and Drew Brees is on time and deadly accurate. I don't think Drew Brees even has a pulse right now, Mike. He's probably welcoming the opportunity to bring his New Orleans Saints back.
Fake to Ingram, throw to Kenny Stills, the rookie out of Oklahoma. And a minimal gain on the 23rd catch of the year by New Orleans' 5th-round pick in this past draft.
I think Sean Payton's off to something here. He's changing the launch spot. You've seen 3-step drops. That time they moved the pocket. You've seen play-action passes. And on 2nd and 7, he's got some heavy artillery. Ben Watson and Graham, 3 tight ends at the bottom of the screen with Meacham isolated up top.
On that quick count, here's the run with Ingram, punishing run. He and Earl Thomas meet. The yard or so shy of the 1st down.
I like what New Orleans did there. Good movement. And again, it's Earl Thomas, the roadrunner, capping off. Take a look at number 29. Good blocking up front by the Saints. And Earl Thomas, he remembers that national championship game, Texas against Alabama. He got Ingram that time.
Play clock. That's got to be delay a game. That time they saw it. There's also movement up front. So let's see which flag will be called first.
Before the ball was snapped or there was any movement, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's very uncommon. I haven't seen the Saints take a delayed game penalty in some time, Mike.
And that should have been their 2nd, and you saw it against the Jets with the communication. That noise factors in, doesn't it?
We're having a hard time negotiating the personnel. Drew Brees is telling the people in the huddle who's coming and going, and the people aren't getting on and off the field nearly as quickly as they do in normal rhythm.
Sproles in the slot. And the pass is caught by Graham, who was outside of Sproles to the 12-yard line. What a shot there by Brees and a gain of 20.
How does a tight end line up out there and run that route? A slant pattern. He lines up like he's a wide receiver. And they do an excellent job locating a big tight end on a weekly basis.
And that's Maxwell out there on him, John. They're not sending anybody special on Graham. They're using Maxwell, who's in because of the Browner and Thurman absences that we talked about earlier.
Well, there he is again at the top of the screen. And Drew knows it.
And he looks that way. Covered. They're resetting now. Brees just throws it incomplete with Colston because of the coverage. It was Chris Clemens, the defensive lineman, who drifted back in that zone with the receiver. There's a flag down in the back of the end zone.
Well, Kenny Stills was knocked out of the end zone. This will be interesting.
Now the conversation, is the quarterback in the pocket at this point? What calls made? See, Breeze has moved out of the pocket. The ball's thrown when the hit
Personal
comes.
foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 25. Half the distance to the goal, an automatic first down.
I think it's a good call.
Absolutely.
I saw it last year up here when Brandon Browner knocked a Green Bay Packer receiver out of the end zone. That was uncalled for by Sherman.
You saw the ball was gone, and Breeze had thrown it to get rid of it. So a well-covered play becomes a first down here for New Orleans inside the Seattle 10.
And once again, Mike, it's the second defensive penalty on the Seahawks that have helped this Saint drive continue. I would not give Drew Brees these opportunities.
Josh Hill, the other tight end, comes back to block, lead the way on a pounding run for Thomas down to the 2. Last night, Drew Brees called Pierre Thomas the most underrated back in the NFL because of all that he does, receiving, picking up blitzes, and able to run inside the tackles there inside the 10-yard line.
Well, when you play the Saints, you know they're going to run the football to the right. That's where Streif is. That's where Jari Evans is. They've had a lot of success running off that right side. If they run it again, they're going to run it to the bottom of the screen behind Streif and Evans.
Bunch to the left. In the middle, it's Graham who holds on for touchdown number 12 on the season.
How do you stop that? Bunch formation, Mike, and they come out of the stack in different directions, and Drew Brees throws a dart. Watch Jimmy Graham uncover, and before Chancellor, Thomas, and Bobby Wagner can get there, Drew Brees lights him up.
Unfortunately, this week, Graham's celebratory dunk didn't bend the goalpost as he did when he scored a touchdown their last game in Atlanta. That is some kind of drive in the rain and the noise. Down 17-0. And the extra points added by Garrett Hartley. Breeze hit all 8 on the drive. The dunk by Graham puts the Saints on the board.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event. Hurry in. Exceptional offers end soon. IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet. The new ESPN Fanshop.com. Powered by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Temperature heading down towards the upper 30s as you look at this beautiful city on the Puget Sound. Our aerial coverage from Seattle tonight is brought to you by DirecTV. 13 plays, 80 yards over 8 minutes going across the end of the first from the second quarter. And the touchdown catch for Jimmy Graham gives him 12 on the year, tying Detroit's Calvin Johnson for most total touchdowns in the NFL this season. Been mostly touchbacks this year from Morstead. This one returnable for Robert Turbin, who is stopped at the 15-yard line by the safety Kenny Vaccaro. Also a single-season record for touchdown catches by a Saint. It's 12 for Graham. It's thrown by Breeze to get the Saints back in it. Now we'll see what their defense can do against the Hawks. This will be just the third drive for the Seahawks. Remember, they scored on the turnover by New Orleans in that first quarter. The first 2 drives led by Russell Wilson, third-round pick in the draft last year, field goal and a touchdown. Raphael Bush, the safety, was on the field earlier for New Orleans, injured his ankle, and out for the Saints for the moment. Lynch runs to the right, across the 20 to the 21-yard line, tackled by Curtis Lofton. Here's how we've arrived at 17-7. It was the pressure from Averill off one corner and Bennett picking it up and scoring the touchdown. Then the 3rd and 1, 60-yarder to the tight end, Zach Miller, who then caught a 2-yard touchdown to put Seattle on top 17-0. And then the Saints responding just a moment ago. That 13-play, 80-yard drive capped off by the touchdown to Graham. After a Lynch run of 5, There's 1-4-1.
Hey, this Akeem Hicks, number 76, has really flashed to me in recent weeks. Former Canadian collegiate player, the third-round pick a couple years ago, an outstanding run stuffer. And I really give Rob Ryan a lot of credit, Mike, for adjusting his defensive scheme to fit this young Saint player grouping that he has.
Injury timeout for the moment. So a timeout on the field. Very important game in the NFC. Also next Monday night as Tony Romo and the Cowboys go to Chicago. Jay Cutler still week to week. Mark Trestman and the Bears coming off their disappointing loss in overtime yesterday. Trestman said today we'll find out about Cutler as the week goes on. So we'll see. The 6-6 Bears at Soldier Field against the 7-5 Cowboys. Monday night countdown starts us 6:30 Eastern. That was a called timeout by New Orleans. A little confusion on the field as the announcement was made. Saints call timeout. Now 3rd and 3 for the Seahawks.
All-out blitz look by the Saints.
And they bring everyone. Wilson throwing deep to the middle of the field. What a grab brought in by Baldwin. And Doug Baldwin takes it down the sideline. Inside the 25-yard line, marked at the 24.
Well, Rob Ryan shows his true colors. He is not afraid to blitz and blitz the house. Here comes the Saints. There's nobody in the middle of the field. They're coming after young Russell Wilson. And he knew exactly where to go. Catch, set your feet, and throw the ball up and give Baldwin a chance to beat a safety in coverage. That'll make you think twice about full blitzing.
They brought 8 and couldn't get home, and Wilson, who loves to see pressure, perfectly dropped pass to Baldwin for 52 yards. Officially from the 25, Wilson tries to escape and does. And on the run, Wilson. Flag down as he's down at the 12.
He's going to come back, but I have no idea how he got out of that one.
Neither does Akeem Hicks, who had him. How did that guy duck under me?
Hands to the face. Offense, left tackle. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It would be Russell Okung, if in fact it was the left tackle.
Take a look at Okung here at left tackle. He's the man guilty of the hands to the face, but sometimes being a little shorter than everybody else pays off for you.
Saw the Okung right hand come up on the face gear of Junior Gillette. And Jerry Austin, our two-time Super Bowl ref in the booth, agrees that it was a correct call, so that marks it back to the 35 and 1st and 20. An empty backfield. The throw is complete again. Zach Miller give him a dozen there to the 23-yard line.
That's one thing that Darrell Bevel is doing to this Saint defense right now, Mike. He's spreading them out in his base personnel, and he's getting tight ends in space against linebackers that aren't equipped to handle coverage. They're going after Lofton with these open no-back formations. They need to get some help for the veteran from Oklahoma.
Robert Turbin in the game at running back. And here he comes to the left. Meantime, Lofton caps off the play that Gillette stopped along with Cameron Jordan. What a year the first-round pick from 2011 is having. 9.5 sacks for Cameron Jordan.
Well, they just stuffed this play at the point of attack. They're going to run a stretch play off the left side. And Cameron Jordan, number 94, who plays multiple positions, gets after McQuiston, gets off a block and rocks Marshawn Lynch. And in 3rd down and 8, these sub-defenses that the Saints run have created a lot of confusion for offenses this season.
Whistle before the play.
False start, offense, number 3. Quarterback. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Pete Carroll disagrees. Sometimes when that quarterback gets too demonstrative as calling the signals, almost simulating the snaps coming, they'll call him for the flag.
Take a look at Russell Wilson's head and body movement here on this hard count. Well, I don't see that. Neither does the crowd.
I feel like that Jordan reacted to the hand movement of Wilson.
7 defensive backs for the Saints. Prevent defense.
First down away to the 15. Wilson gets it quick. And Tate get the blockers down the sideline. Yes, first down. Golden Tate to the 12. So they put all the DBs in. But the screen with Tate keeps the drive alive.
Oh, it's a great block by Jermaine Kearse, but it's a prevent defense, a 3-man rush. A lot of defensive backs out here. So Russell Wilson just picks it up and throws it to the top of the screen. And number 15, Kearse, gets a great block on Chris Carr on the edge. And Mike, Golden Tate is outstanding after the catch. He makes a lot of his real estate after the catch. Great call.
They survive first and 20. Now from the 11, Lynch is back in. And Gillette joins White. You can hear many whistles are blowing once they decide Lynch's forward progress is stopped. You better be clear, because you know the Saints are coming to shut him down.
I feel like I'm at a rodeo or something. Every time this guy carries the football, just listen at home and watch how many people have to make this tackle.
Precipitation picking up. They can get a first down inside the 1. Wilson has to improvise. Spinning, throwing on the run. Kearse couldn't pull it in. I think, John, that initial play was for Lynch, who couldn't sneak out as New Orleans was physical with him.
Every defensive coach I've talked to says they underestimate Wilson's scrambling ability at the end of the night. Watch him do a 360, reverses field. Not only does he get away, but he has the presence to find an open receiver. And
what a throw.
Kearse should make that catch. What a play by Wilson. Look at Pete Carroll.
It was Robinson, 26, not Lynch, 24, trying to leak out of the backfield. Play clock running down, and Pete Carroll runs out to take the timeout. 3rd and 6 when you come back. Keeping that Ferris wheel down by the pier off of Puget Sound, showing Seahawks colors. Everywhere you go, the number 12, those 12th man jerseys, or the Russell Wilson jerseys. There will be several of those delivered by Santa in the Great Northwest this year.
I bought 2. But here he is again in a key 3rd down situation in the red zone. They're going to call a couple plays in the huddle, and they're going to give Russell Wilson a lot of autonomy at the line of scrimmage to do what he sees fit.
Those great 3rd down numbers. They've converted 5 of the 6 3rd downs tonight. 5 receivers in the pattern. Wilson surveys, scrambles, runs. Short. What they do here, 4th and just over a yard, up 10.
That's why New Orleans likes having these safeties on the field, Mike. They have people that can come and get Wilson. You're going to see number 27, Malcolm Jenkins, recognize Wilson scrambling, and he has the speed to get there. That's a heck of an effort by Malcolm Jenkins.
John, Pete Carroll walked all the way down to get a good look at exactly where it was. Saw that it was a full yard, but the play clock starts as soon as Wilson slides out of bounds there. So the play clock's down at 5 as Hauschka comes on for an extra point-sized field goal. But they get off in time, and the 20-yarder is not through by the man who's missed only 1 kick this year. 20-7. Seahawks score again. 2 quarterbacks on display tonight do not have that prototypical height. Take the most wins by 6 feet and under quarterbacks since 1950, and Breeze 2nd in wins to Fran Tarkington. You take the winning percentage, 60% of the games for the 6-footer even. It's the highest for someone who's won at least 100. Talking about guys who've won at least 20 games. It's Wilson, who was measured at the combine just under 5'11", and tonight tries to get his 22nd win in his second year as a starter. And Russell has said, watching Drew Brees and what he's been able to do, he has really opened the minds of people around the league. That a quarterback who's not 6'3", 6'4", can come into the league and get the job done. Hauschka's kickoff is short into whatever wind we have here tonight. And Cadet brings it back. Tavares just over the 20-yard line to the 22. So that's why Wilson idolized Brees. Matter of fact, when Wilson went from NC State to Wisconsin, he drives a U-Haul 17 hours to get to Madison, and the street right outside of Camp Randall is Brees Terrace. And he says, the irony wasn't lost on me. He's watched Brees throw it in the NFL and try to pattern his game after him.
Yeah, both these guys know that there's never a perfect pocket in this league, and they work hard on fundamentals and footwork, and I don't know anybody that works harder than these two.
And we've seen it with Wilson, 3 drives here tonight, and they put up points on each drive. Brees and the Saints coming off a great drive. And remember, Seattle gets the ball first to start the second half. So important drive here. Brees finds Colston, gains 7. It's Cam Chancellor, that huge safety, coming up to make the tackle.
That time, Pete Carroll comes with a blitz. New Orleans picks it up. Even when Seattle blitzes, they play zone most of the time, Mike. That time, Chancellor saw Colston the whole way. Good drive, good tackle.
Why do they have seats here? Nobody ever sits. They're standing all night. 2nd and 5 for the fullback Collins. Terrific catch. Is ruled touchdown there, 1.5 yards shy of the first down.
Saints have been very patient. Sean Payton has thrown the ball quickly for the most part in the last 17 or 18 plays. I'm still waiting for Brees to challenge Earl Thomas with one of his patented seam balls. 3rd and 2.
Mark Ingram is the back. It's play action. Here's a shot for the other tight end. And Josh Hill can't bring it down. Being chased by Bobby Wagner. So looking to build a drive and score before the half. It's 3 and out for New Orleans.
Well, it's the second time they've run that clear out, that sail route. This time the tight end comes out of the backfield, and these are normally slam dunks. Josh Hill, the tight end, to the corners open. Ball's not thrown accurately, and Hill fails to make a circus catch. And Russell Wilson's going to get the ball with plenty of time again, Mike.
Thomas Morstead. Rocket shot with the wind behind him. 58 yards. Tate spins and gets immediately thrown out of bounds by Issa Abdul-Kadous. And Tate, who has been flagged for his excessive celebrations and taunting, not drawn into one there by Kadous. Well, Brees is completing a lot of passes here, but not many downfield. Not being able to challenge deep against Thomas in that secondary. Only 74 yards on the 13 completions. Meantime, Wilson's been outstanding. 60 yards on 1 completion to Zach Miller and over 50 yards to Doug Baldwin on the prior drop.
This 2-minute situation is where Wilson has been very effective this year. Let's see what he has backed up at his own 10 with a 13-point lead.
Starting from their 12. Nothing going on. Wilson trying to take off, shovels it ahead to Marshawn Lynch, who catches it. It'll be a loss of 5. Again, that awkward delivery, that was a very similar play to the touchdown scored in their last game against Minnesota. Roderick Bunkley was looking for that sack. Inside 2 here in Seattle. I want to go back to this play here before the 2-minute warning. It was close to a sack with Russell Wilson. And as you look at Roderick Bunkley, the Wilson knee will be down before he flips the ball. So that should be a sack. Now, because it happened before the 2-minute warning, New Orleans would have to challenge that play. That's the first time the Saints have had a look at it via replay because we went to break at the 2-minute warning. And the question is, will they use the challenge here, now that they've seen that replay, to get 5 more yards farther back? And they do not. Well, it's a run to the 12-yard line, but now New Orleans will use one of those timeouts. John, try to get the ball back for Drew Brees.
I love what Sean Payton did right there. He didn't waste a second. As soon as he saw Lynch tackled, he took the timeout. He wants one more possession for Drew Brees. He knows he's got to kick it off to Russell Wilson to start the third quarter. He'd love to see his offense get one more shot.
Why do you think they haven't been able to get the ball to those seams down the field to Jimmy Graham, like seems to happen 20, 25-yard completions every game?
Well, a couple times they had it called, but Seattle called the right coverage. They got into a 4-deep zone. They guessed right. They've had a couple corner routes open. They just haven't connected tonight, but we got a lot of football left, and this is a huge third down for the Saint defense.
New Orleans has one more timeout to use. On 3rd and 9, Seattle will throw, and Wilson fires back shoulder and is caught for the first down by Kearse. Jermaine Kearse in front of Malcolm Jenkins. And now forget about getting the ball back. Got to keep Seattle from starting a drive.
You got to be kidding me. He threw a back shoulder throw in the rain from his left hash mark.
Minute 30 to go. Again on the read. Wilson takes the option of keeping and a gain of 5 out of bounds.
Now you're backed up inside your 10-yard line on 3rd down. You drop back the pass to the wide side of the field, and you throw a back shoulder fade. That's amazing. Jermaine Kearse filling in for Sidney Rice, filling in for Percy Harvin, and the young quarterback has the confidence to make a play like that. That's impressive.
Saw Sidney Rice get hurt against St. Louis. He's on injured reserve, out for the year. Told you at Harvin, not back from his hip injury. But guys like Doug Baldwin continue to make plays for this receiving corps. And Baldwin out of bounds for the first down. 1:21 until Toyota halftime with Chris Berman in the studio. We have the Sunday soundtracks, listening in on some of the action behind the scenes from yesterday's games. And the Gruden Grinder from the Sunday games. Lane to throw the ball, but that time it was low for Lynch and incomplete. Stopped with 78 seconds till the half.
That's what the Saints need. They need Junior Gillette to rev up the pass rush. That's the one area that the Saints are much better at this year. That's rushing the passer. They came in with 37, Mike. Here you see Gillette knock Wilson down as he edges Russell Okung. But Gillette and Cam Jordan have really delivered a pass rush that is much needed in New Orleans.
Recently signed Ricardo Lockett is the Seattle receiver, bottom of the screen. Second and 10, a Lynch run up the middle into Saints territory to the 42-yard line, closing in on field goal range as we close in on a minute.
When you come with a blitz off the outside, you better shut down these inside gaps. Excellent work by Russell Okung on the backside, and Marshawn Lynch cuts it back, and he thrashes New Orleans.
Wilson lofting it once he's out of the pocket. Can get rid of it legally there, so it's incomplete. By the way, that run for Lynch ties him with Adrian Peterson for most yards in the league, most runs this year in the league, over 10 yards. It's such a great weapon and a patient offensive play calling sequence here, John, inside the 2-minute warning with only one timeout.
Just look at Russell Wilson in the huddle, Mike. He talks with his eyeballs. I mean, he has so much confidence, and he delivers such a positive vibe that every play is going to work. It's contagious with this Seahawk offense.
Oh, to the left, it's Turbin. And they're closing in on field goal range at the 30-yard line, using the final timeout here with 40 seconds remaining, a gain of 12.
Put all these defensive backs in the game to stop the pass. Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson are willing to run the ball.
And you talk about the confidence that Wilson exudes. Here he is talking about how far this team can go with his leadership.
I believe I can do anything. You know, it's like one of those things that the Lord truly gifted me with a lot of talent, and I put the work in. And that's how we separate ourselves, by our preparation, by my preparation, and really studying the film, and really studying my game, and really self-evaluating myself. And when I'm not very good at something, and making sure I take that note and work at it. You know, I don't shy away. I can't be afraid to excel. And those big opportunities, I always want to be clutch, being consistent, being dominant, and being clutch. That's how I want to play the game of football.
In at 5:45 every morning, out after 7:30. Described simply as a coach's dream. Fans like him too. In field goal range, the Seahawks. Wilson escapes, keeps, has 5 and 10, and give him 15. Down by the 15. Doing it all in this first half.
And talking to the Saint coaches, they were content on doing everything they could to contain him. They're going to try to keep Russell Wilson in the pocket and make that 5'10" status matter, but they're not fast enough. They underestimate him. Say whatever you want. Time and time again, since Russell Wilson has arrived in the National Football League, he gets out of trouble.
33 seconds. Take a couple of shots at the end zone here, even though you have no timeouts. There's time to kill the clock, get your field goal unit on. Wilson using the middle. It's caught by Curse at the 8. Seattle will get back to the line quickly here. Let's see if they have a play call, or they'll kill it. Looks like a kill. With 18 seconds left, but a flag down. Let's see if New Orleans did not get back on side.
I don't think Gillette got back, Mike.
There's also, John, the alignment of Seattle. One of the two, if they had enough people on the line. And it looks like it's going to go the Saints.
Offside, defensive left end. Never got back to his side of the line before the ball was snapped. Under 1 minute, that ball was dead before the snap. 5-yard penalty.
Take a look at Gillette on the right side of your screen. He clearly doesn't get back in time, and you give Russell Wilson time to get back in the huddle with a 2-for-1 opportunity. Advantage Seattle.
So it gives the Seahawks a first down, and as it's a defensive foul there, that opens up more opportunities with a stop clock at 18 seconds. Now the officials coming in to discuss, make sure the clock situation is correct as well. No timeouts, first and goal at the 5.
Penalty resulted in a first down.
6 first downs now on this drive. And that play before, we're talking about the Saints getting the ball back. Instead, it kicked Pete Carroll's team into the 2-minute drill and could be a knockout punch for the Saints. Wilson protected, throws it back. Open is Baldwin for the touchdown.
What a first half. That's a well-designed play by Darrell Bevell. I credit Russell Wilson tremendously, but play action pass and out of the bunch stack. They run a crisscross and nobody covered Doug Baldwin. Huge score before the half, and remember, Seattle gets the ball to start the third.
(27-7).
Right side of your screen, Baldwin and Tate cross the field together, and New Orleans blows the coverage. And Wilson's not missing much, Mike. He's seeing everything. Maximum protection. Pete Carroll's got to love this. This is just where he wanted to see his defense with a commanding 3-score lead where he can cut loose his pass rush. How about Russell Wilson, Mike?
So few mistakes, so many solid plays, and you almost have to remind yourself, this is his second year. He seems way beyond his years and seemed that way at the end of his North Carolina State days and went to Wisconsin and learned the offense of the year, became a captain after just 6 weeks on campus, took him to the Rose Bowl.
It all started, he ran a zone read to begin the game. He got in a no-back set, threw a bomb against a full blitz. He's been outstanding in the red zone. He makes a great play in the 2-minute drill, backed up on third down. You got to tip your hat to the young quarterback.
13 seconds left. And Hauschka will roll it back. And closing in on it is Cadet. And he's tackled first by Chancellor. And then Mike Morgan. 9 seconds left. You remember that game, sir?
Yes, I do.
Heck of a play caller. Did you call Spider 2 wide banana that
game? Just don't count these two out. Do not count them out.
Right. The way they can come back, passing the ball and jumping that 2-minute?
Yes, I've seen them do that. Now, I've never seen anybody roll up 315 yards in the first half. They better get their defense straight or they could get blown out of here. But I expect a lot more from the Saints in the second half.
224 more yards in the half. The ball belongs to the Seahawks to start the second half, and they are sent off with another thunderous ovation. Chris Berman, Toyota halftime.
All right, Michael, thank you.
Russell Wilson's an MVP-type candidate.
Breeze, and as he throws, it's into the hands. Michael Bennett, Seattle touchdown! A wow of the first half for the Seahawks in CenturyLink Field. Rocking 27-7. Hawks get the ball to start the third. Mike, John, Lisa Salters down on the field. So how does the New Orleans team regroup? It's got to start with his first drive, obviously, on the defensive end.
That's that simple, Mike. You have to stop the Seattle Seahawks on offense. They've been unable to do it. They have to get Drew Brees back on the field. He spent way too much time on the sideline. They have to find an answer for Russell Wilson quick.
315 first-half yards for Wilson and the Seahawks. 226 coming via the air. And so much of the narrative of this season has been as Sean Payton returns, Rob Ryan takes the defense, turns it around. It's a top 5 ranked defense. But they have been exposed by the talented Wilson and the Seahawks offense in this first half. It's a little colder here. Temperatures dip below 40. The wind is shifted a little bit as the return comes shy of the 20-yard line.
Well, Wilson can do it all, and he did it all in the first half. It started with his zone read. He reads Junior Gillette. Gillette closed, and Russell Wilson kept it for big yardage. Then Rob Ryan comes with a full blitz, and Russell Wilson sees it. He goes right to Doug Baldwin and throws a perfect pass for a huge gain. And then play action in short yardage, play action on the goal line. He's done it all tonight. Important right now that he takes care of the football and stays on the gas pedal because Drew Brees is waiting.
Derek Coleman, the fullback who's been inactive for the last 4 weeks, is in. And he lead blocks for Lynch, who has no gain. Lisa Salters down on the sideline.
Hey, Michael, Sean Payton told me that his team didn't do a whole lot well in that first half. He said we gave up too many big plays on third downs. We didn't get off the field defensively. He also said communication wasn't good. So I asked him if the noise was a factor in how those designer earplugs were holding up. He said noise wasn't really an issue, but he did say that they had a miscommunication on the very first play of the game. As for the Seahawks, I asked Pete Carroll, what do you have to do to deliver the knockout punch? He said, hey, we're not in finish mode. We respect this team. We know what they can do. We're just going to keep playing. Mike?
We've all seen that act before. Thank you, Lisa. Lynch, and for the second time, he is met at or behind the line of scrimmage. That time, Curtis Lofton top tackler here, makes it 3rd down, and you see this defense trying to make the early statement.
Well, Lofton got Sean Payton's message at halftime. Go out there and stuff this running game and get the ball back. Back-to-back plays by the veteran. Put Seattle in a 3rd down and long.
See if the pass rush with Junior Gillette, 93 off the edge, can get to Wilson in this passing situation. 3rd and 11. Gillette getting near Wilson, who throws, sideline caught at the 18-yard line. And well short of the 1st down as Kenny Vaccaro makes the tackle on Zach Miller, and it's 3 and out, forced by the New Orleans defense. Their must to start this half.
That's a great start. And keep an eye on this Seattle punt team. This is an interesting statistic for you, Mike. They've given up 15 punt return yardage all year. I mean, it's unbelievable. This punter and this coverage unit has been incredible.
John Ryan, who kicks it with great hang time. This is Sproles at the 32. There's a flag down as Sproles gets 7 on the return to the 39, or would have been about half the yards they've given up in 11 games. It is an unbelievable stat. There was an early flag thrown on that 49-yard punt. Seattle penalized 5 times in the first half, New Orleans twice.
A lot of conferences tonight, Mike.
Well, if there's a hat gone, it usually means somebody was out of bounds. And how quickly did they come back in bounds? Make the effort to come back in bounds.
During the kick, personal foul by the receiving team, number 38, was blocking out of bounds. That's a 15-yard penalty enforced from where the kick was caught. New Orleans keeps the ball after enforcement. 1st down.
So any good field position is erased on the mistake by Rod Sweeting, trying to get Jeremy Lane, one of those gunners, but the rookie Sweeting made a mistake. Saints down 27-7. If they come back, it's something that's never happened in Saints history, or never happened to the Seahawks blowing a lead like this. Of course, that 20-point lead at the half. Drive start from the 17. Breeze in the middle. It's Colston, the all-time reception man for the Saints, but a flag's down, back by Breeze.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense number 71. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat 1st down.
It's Charles Brown, the left tackle who played for Pete Carroll at USC.
Well, you get a 3-and-out stop from your defense. You get a penalty on your special teams. And now Charles Brown with the hands to the face. And this crowd is being treated to a real performance so far.
First and 18, the pressure's picked up for the moment. Breeze had nobody open, though. This secondary blanketing people. Sherman with the coverage after Bruce Irvin brought the pressure.
This Bruce Irvin, he is an outstanding pass rusher. Take a look at Sherman. He understands these bump and run techniques that Pete Carroll teaches here. Jimmy Graham on the other side is squeezed by KJ Wright. Cam Chancellor, there's nowhere to go with the football.
When you talked about the underneath routes, that's the 3rd time seeing a defensive lineman dropping back. They're not giving any space for that underneath moving stuff for the running backs. Play clock. Timeout. Crowd. Again.
12th man. They're always a factor in Seattle.
Parents teachers, students, fans, fun and easy way for you to hop on the NFL Play 60 bus. Get on board, join the movement, and help millions of children get active and healthy. Visit NFLrush.com/Play60. Third down. Good luck.
Watch the screen if you're Seattle to Pierre Thomas.
Second down, second and 18. Pressure by Averill off the corner. There is that screen to Thomas, who got to the 16-yard line, but there's another flag down right back by where they were trying to protect Breeze. Another hold. Pete Carroll looking at his options. It would either be 3rd and 11 or 2nd and push him back to about the 4-yard line.
Offense, number 73. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down.
Backside guard on a screen play. Let's see, he can't believe the call. Watch Jari Evans get rid of this blocker and try to get into the screen. I don't see that at all. That's a bad call. They got to let these players play. Too many penalties.
Breeze from his own end zone. Going to launch it down the sideline. The coverage is great with Sherman. No place for Colston to go.
There's Richard Sherman. All the production they get out of Richard Sherman in bump and run coverage. You got to credit Pete Carroll and Chris Richard, the defensive backfield coach of the Seahawks. These are 5th and 6th round picks, Mike. Maxwell, Jeremy Lane, Sherman, all 5th and 6th round picks. And Earl Thomas, the captain, is the only first rounder. But they are giving the New Orleans Saints all they want tonight.
Watch the play clock again. Get it off in time. Seahawks rush 4. It's underneath Sproles. He needed to get to the 27. And it will be another 3 and out from the Saints.
Once again, Earl Thomas, who makes a living as the deep safety. He sees the ball, check down to Darren Sproles. He's going to be a part of it. That time Sproles made him look bad. I like it.
Morstead punting to Golden Tate. A space to return this 54-yard kick. Tate looking to set up the picket fence. Got through almost all of it, but brought down by the former Seahawk, David Hawthorne. Another flag is down.
During the punt, holding by the receiving team, number 57. A 10-yard penalty is enforced from where the ball was caught. Seattle keeps the ball after enforcement. First down.
Take the Seahawks back around their own 20-yard line. But, John, let's go back and talk about the impact for Earl Thomas, who you think is Defensive Player of the Year candidate this year.
Well, this hero, Cam, you see him on the practice field, coming downhill, breaking on the football. He can see the ball delivered, and he's got a great knack for accelerating, just like he does right here. Love the way he plays. He sees the game differently than most people see it, on and off the field. Passionate every day, striving to get better. I'm telling you, I think he's got some MVP-like criteria on defense.
And so often you look at stats for a player who has a huge number of interceptions or sacks, but once you watch the coach's tape of Thomas and all the things he does, and then learn from his teammates the energy he brings to this defense on a regular basis, with all the traits of the leadership. Pass caught by Tate to gain a 3 as Corey White throws him out of bounds. And, John, it's both sides. We've talked about Russell Wilson and Earl Thomas, the true leaders, defined leaders of this team. Young, talented, dedicated players who everybody seems to be thrilled to follow their words and their ways.
No, I echo that. I can't tell you how impressed we all were walking out of those production meetings. Well beyond their years.
2nd and 6, right back to the air for Wilson, and perfect accuracy to Doug Baldwin in front of Malcolm Jenkins, just shy of the 40. It's a first down for Seattle.
Well, you get the running game going. You come out naked to your right. Tight end's not there. You stay on the move, and you throw the ball to your over route. And that's an excellent job by Doug Baldwin, mirroring the quarterback, so Wilson doesn't have to throw it back against the grain. Very good balance between the run and the pass here in Seattle. And this stretch running game with these stretch bootlegs, miserable on defenses.
Number 39, same look. Wilson looking left. Firing wide open. Baldwin, that time he overthrew it. Incomplete.
That was a great job by Baldwin, instinctively setting down. I think Baldwin was supposed to stay on the move, but he saw coverage way over the top, so he instinctively sat down on the outside, waiting for the back shoulder throw, and Russell Wilson just missed it.
Baldwin's out of Stanford. Kearse is out of Washington. Golden Tate, Notre Dame. Zach Miller, the tight end, Arizona State. Of course, Pete Carroll's time at USC. In the recruiting process, around the time these players were high school, going to college, very familiar with a lot of this talent. And a lot of the players in lower rounds that have been taken and succeeded here. Wilson. Ricardo Lockett, and has ruled a catch. And a great grab by Lockett, his 3rd on the season.
Who are these receivers? Fort Valley State, Lockett. I've seen Kearse. But this is an aggressive shot team. We said it in the pregame, and Russell Wilson likes all of his young receivers. And if you play press coverage with no help, he's going to throw it to him.
Saw the looks there. Seattle went up to the line quick to run the play. The gain was 33 yards. It was very close to see if he was bobbling the ball or not. He got 3 feet down. The question was, when did he have the complete control? It's a moot point now. See, at that very last point, he seemed to get control, and I couldn't tell if that foot was being dragged down.
You guys are funny. That was a great catch, though.
I know it was. That may have stood up in replay, because as he finally grasped it, that toe tap came down. It would have been a tight one either way. Second and 7. No holding. The holding flag is thrown as Wilson moves to the 20-yard line. James Carpenter in at left guard. Hogtied, the lineman coming through. 77 for Seattle. Should be flagged here.
A lot of penalties here in the 3rd quarter. A lot of conferences in the 3rd quarter.
There was no foul for holding on the play. The quarterback had already taken off with the ball. 3rd down.
So since he was beyond the play when the hold happened, that erases the hold? All right.
I'm confused. Short yardage. The last time Seattle had a short yardage situation, they ran a beautiful bootleg and got a big play. Let's see if it's the Beast or it's Wilson.
Third and 2, the pressure comes. Wilson getting rid of it quickly. And it's incomplete, but a flag is thrown as Hicks takes Wilson to the ground. Well, the flags are not going the Saints' way here.
Foul, roughing the passer.
On this drive.
Defense. Go to the head with the eye. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, it's an all-out blitz, and nobody blocked anybody. I don't know if there was a confusion on the snap count. But they just got Akeem Hicks, and that keeps this drive alive.
Left forearm clubbing the side of the helmet of Wilson. And the Saints defense now faces 1st and goal as the ball is touching the 10. tackled by Hawthorne, gain of only a yard. It was Curtis Lofton, Hawthorne's teammate, who told us last night that this former Seattle Seahawk, we didn't really get to see the real Hawthorne last year because of injury, but the Saints feel like they're getting that kind of play this year.
A couple of years ago, Hawthorne had about 115 tackles, 3 interceptions as a Seahawk. And you know deep down inside that Saint uniform, he wants a piece of his old teammates. Nice play by Hawthorne.
Wilson has thrown 2 touchdowns so far here tonight. What a pickup by Lynch. Oh, what a rebound. Is he inbounds? Long conversation here. The ball also comes out at the back end of it. On the deflection, it's Derek Coleman down there by the goal line. And now a long conversation as that hot-to-handle pass ricocheted off the intended receiver at the goal line. So as they talk, let's see, fans saw the replay. They hit Kellen Davis up in the face mask. 2 feet are down. The plane is broken by Coleman, and that reaching the ball is a second act. That one may hold up.
The field is that the player that caught the pass had been out of bounds, but he had reestablished, and the ball was touched by someone else before he caught it. It is therefore a touchdown.
And I think it's going to hold up on the back end of it, too. Kellen Davis had it hit his face mask. He's the one that Ed Hockley was talking about reestablishing, because once you go out, you got to get back in.
The Spider 2-Y banana. They cover the fullback and the tight end. He's going to throw the ball to the backside under route. There's nobody open. He throws the backside under. It bounces off his hands, and it hits the fullback for a touchdown. Even Spider 2-Y banana has a strange twist with Russell Wilson at quarterback. How about that play?
That will, since it's a scoring play, get automatic review, so it'll get a little extra long look for all the elements that Ed Hockley explained.
We will review the ruling on the field.
So a lot of things to look at, including and starting with the player who was out of bounds coming back in and reestablishing. Sean Payton's yelling at the line judge, John Hussey, about the roughing the passer call and the holding that was wiped away. Now in replay, we'll see if this bizarre touchdown stands. All right, Ed Hockley has had the look under the hood to confirm everything on that play. And at our looks in replay, Derek Coleman, who ended up catching the ricochet, seemed to not go out of bounds. Guess as this stands, or is confirmed.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver did get back in bounds with both feet before he caught the ball. He then made a move into the end zone with the football and scored the touchdown before he hit the ground. Touchdown.
There's Coleman, who was inactive the last 4 weeks. You see, he never did go out of bounds. And that is the first touchdown for Derek Coleman. (34-7) as Stephen Hauschka adds the extra point. Seattle with a big old exclamation point tonight.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans, guaranteed. LiftMaster, no other garage door opener opens your world like a LiftMaster. Toyota Care, scheduled maintenance, no cost. And NFL Mobile, never have the fear of missing out on football. NFL.com/mobile.
Little headbangers ball down at Numos on Pike Street. Sand Rider was playing, and they helped us out to get the decibels. The bass is 101, the lead guitar 112, the drums 118, the whole grunge sound at 126. But
you know, you're getting carried away, Mike.
The Guinness World Record folks do tell us, John, that a world record was set tonight with the decibels at 137.6, breaking the mark held by the Kansas City fans last month. And so that story goes. Tavares Cadet with the return to the 22-yard line. So does anybody want to come here and play a playoff game? If things hold up, people will have to. Seattle is trying to get to 11-1, and you see everybody else in the conference has at least 3 losses, so they would be 2 up. They have a game with San Francisco coming up. The Seahawks will have a great opportunity with fate in their own hands to close this thing out and send everyone out here in January to try to get across the country to the Super Bowl. Here's the run by Ingram on the edge. A hard run by the former Heisman winner and a gain of 8 for Mark.
That time the ball bounces out to Sherman. He can't make the tackle, but that triangle defense they play here. Here's Earl Thomas to minimize the gain. 3 deep, 4 underneath, over and over, and Thomas is at the top of the triangle. He's the deep safety.
And it's a run with Ingram to the left. He'll get to the 30-yard line. John, you always tell me that at cover 2, the defense with 2 safeties deep. There are cover 2 beaters, you say. There are always plays against that defense. How come there aren't plays against Seattle's triangle, as you're talking about it, if they're running it so often?
A lot of teams play a 3-deep defense with the corners off.
Right.
These Seahawk corners are right up in your face. And the 4 underneath defenders, they're not as good as the ones they got here in Seattle. They play the coverage and they rush the passer. That's why everything works here. Plus, you can't even hear the ball snap. This 12th man assists them as well.
Third and 2. Breeze can't find anybody open. He just has to get rid of it. Flag down late. Hit on Breeze, I think, is going to cost Pete Carroll's team the ball. It'll be a first down for New Orleans. Let's see if they're going to call that or they're going to call grounding.
They'll call something.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Helmet contact, number 29. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Earl Thomas, he sees Breeze in trouble, and he flashes the screen again.
It's that slap of that right hand to the face mask. It'll take the ball out to the 45-yard line. Only the second time the Saints have been past their own 30. The other time was on their touchdown drive.
Take a shot here.
There's the play action. The look is deep. Breeze will try to find it to Graham, and the corner actually, Maxwell, comes in and breaks the play up.
Maxwell. He's another Pete Carroll company man. He's just waited for his chance. He's mastered the techniques. Jimmy Graham on another sail route with a deep clear out. And at the top of the screen, number 41, Maxwell, sees it the whole way, drops his coverage, and almost intercepts his pass. But Pete Carroll continues to develop defensive backs that are long, tall, and they master these techniques that they teach here in Seattle. Man, are they good on the edge.
4-man rush. Breeze hit as he threw it, and it's incomplete. The pressure from Clinton McDonald, 5th-year man out of Memphis, once played for the Bengals.
Well, McDonald got cut at the end of training camp. He's come back and become an inside pass rusher for the Seahawks, and Drew Brees can't set his feet. 3rd and long, and I don't have a statistic, but 3rd down and 10 or more, I bet it's less than 10% against the Seahawk defense.
They were 3 of 34 coming in tonight.
I thought so.
This is a screen, and it's a loss of 4. K.J. Wright, and this defense has been sensational against a top offense.
You got to stop the seams and you got to stop the screens. And K.J. Wright, number 50, sees the screening back the whole way. And left guard Ben Grubbs has to get to K.J. Wright, but he can't do it. The Seahawks were ready for it, Mike. Impressive.
Punting is Morstead. Got to send Golden Tate over to the sideline. He's going to return it from the 13. And the spinning Tate tracked down at the 25-yard line. New Orleans Saints offense averages 415 yards a game, third in the league. Tonight against Seattle, 104 yards. 100 miles south of Canada, ranked the most literate state, or literate city, I should say, in the country, Seattle. Well-read folks, loud folks too.
Yeah, they're loud, and now they're literate too. Boy, you're really something. Thanks.
Just wanted you to know that you're around other smart people like yourself. Right? This is a great place. People often talk about the rain, but there are a couple of hundred sunny and beautiful days out here. Especially in late spring and summertime. From the 25, Wilson starting another drive, and their drives have been just great. Tate starts it with a gain of a dozen as he's pinballed around. So remember, they scored on one turnover by New Orleans, and then add to that not just the scores on these drives, but John, long drives, 60, 70, 3 drives, almost 80 yards, 2 over 80. Just impressive.
That's a credit to Darrell Bevell and this offensive system. Remember, Drew Brees and Sean Payton been together 8 years. A lot of that shows. Bevell and Russell Wilson just in their second year together. Makes you wonder where they're going to be 3 or 4 years down the road.
If Bevell's here for another 3 or 4 years. Lynch runs to the right. Gains about a yard. He had a couple of head coaching interviews last year. Bevell was the offensive coordinator in Minnesota, was a quarterback at Wisconsin, much like his quarterback now, Russell Wilson, quarterback Wisconsin, to a Rose Bowl win back in '94, and he told me he remembers watching Russell Wilson lead Bevell's alma mater, Wisconsin, to the 2011 Rose Bowl and the success there. So many people had questions about the height, and that's why he went 75th, and people passed on him. But Pete Carroll spoke to his mentor in the business, Bud Grant, the legendary Vikings head coach, who had Fran Tarkenton, said, no, you can do it if it's a special type player. And Wilson is showing that again tonight. Out of the pocket, just getting rid of it as his intended receiver, Zach Miller, was covered.
Great job that time by Junior Gillette containing Wilson. It's the 5th different bootleg that the Seahawks have run tonight. That time Wilson did a nice job throwing the ball away, living for another down.
This New Orleans defense, again, 31st. They gave up the most points, or second most points in the league last year. Gave up the most yards, an NFL record last year. They turned all those numbers around, but Seattle putting it on them here tonight. And so much of it has been Wilson making decisions and moves. He pitches that to Lynch, and the question was it forward? And it was, so this will not count. Except in the bruise department, past the line of scrimmage, it'll be termed an illegal forward pass.
We're going to hear from Ed Hockley again, but what a play by Russell Wilson. Sensing that Marshawn Lynch was there to receive that pass.
Illegal forward pass by the offense, number 3. The pass was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the pass, and a loss of down. Brings up 4th down.
I think that's a correct call. He's waiting for Lynch to backtrack a little bit.
Come back with me. Well, we're starting to see that with read options, that pitch phase, is it's called, of the read option, where receivers are mirroring quarterbacks, much like college ball, and pitching it backwards after the line of scrimmage.
Watch these gunners, Mike. Lane and Curse on the outside. I want to go back. They've given up 15 punt return yardage all season. The one Sproles returned in the first half was called back because of a penalty.
This is going to be no return yards either. Also in the equation with the Gunners is the kicker. Ryan kicks a very tough-to-catch ball, and also combined in there the hang time. don't think you've put on a kid's show. Today's shape is triangle. Please explain, teacher.
How about the Seattle triangle they play on defense? That triangle is a 3 deep, 4 under zone. And they've done a great job with this coverage since Pete Carroll's been here. They take away the deep routes. They rally to the underneath routes. There's nothing there. They rush the passer. There's 3 deep in a triangle. There's 4 underneath. They do a great job with this zone defense, giving you nothing. And they have done it to everybody, especially at this place.
And there were questions about this secondary without Brandon Browner, without Walter Thurman, their second and third best corners. Would the integrity of that style of defense and that triangle still work? And it's been great tonight, working in concert with the pass rush. It's the first catch of the night for Lance Moore, and a gain of 5.
And when they get a lead, they get involved, they change the coverage. Now they go to a 2 deep zone, they drop a nose tackle out of there, and they rush 3 defenders. So just when you think you can call a play and attack this triangle, they rush 3 and play an old-school Tampa 2 coverage that Pete Carroll coached 20 years ago. A lot of volume here in Seattle.
Second and 5. Breeze feeling the pressure and gets hit as he tries to get rid of it. It's incomplete. Clinton McDonald for the second time.
Well, that time they rush a safety. They drop an end on the other side. Here comes Chancellor. There goes somebody on the other side. You don't know who's coming and who's going half the time. And Chris Clemens doesn't get touched. You fall behind like New Orleans is behind tonight in this noise with this defense.
Hey,
you're hurting.
Lisa Salters just told the truck. Pete Carroll just came down the sideline and said, you're going to like this defensive call. Twist, pressure on Breeze. That pass is caught. There's a flag down as Moore makes the catch. And that flag is thrown for offside, so that's not the call they were looking for. Just look at it here. It's a 5-yard flag. It should be an automatic
offside.
First down.
Defense number 91. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
There's Clemens. Lined up offside. Saints had 1 scoring drive, and that was kept alive by a couple of penalties from Seattle. Usually a 34-7 game, fans check out. These fans crank it up, get even louder. Quick hitting inside run, and Darren Sproles ends up 3 yards shy of the first down with 1:20 in this third quarter.
You see KJ Wright, their young linebacker, up into the line of scrimmage, challenging Jimmy Graham and Zach Strief. Starting right tackle. Let's hope this is nothing serious.
Scotty Patton, the Saints athletic training staff, out to check on the starter who missed the New England game. As you see, he got caught up.
His left knee.
Yep. So often, those linemen getting caught up from behind and bodies rolling up on their leg.
And Bryce Harris, number 79, who's been a extra tight end in situations this year, will go over to the right side, and you just have to hope that Strief walks away from this.
Knee and groin injuries kept Strief out of the lineup for a couple of years. Remember, the left tackle last year was Jermon Bushrod, now with the Bears. And there was some uncertainty on that side. So that offensive line over the years, when you win and you keep your quarterback, who's a franchise quarterback, you can't afford to keep all those pieces together for many years, and you have to start piecing things back together.
Great credit to Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis, the GM. All the change that this team has endured since that Super Bowl championship. Not just on the offensive line, but on virtually every position on this football team.
For Sean Payton coming back after the year suspension, telling us as we sat down with him yesterday and talked with Drew Brees as well. Brees said how locked in Payton has been this year. He's always focused, play caller, very much involved. But remember, as Strief walks off with a limp, and they'll certainly diagnose that tonight and into tomorrow, Sean Payton had gotten away from the play calling a bit once he had his leg injury when he got rolled up on the sideline in Tampa a couple of years ago, but got back into it as he spent that year out of there. And Breeze had said no detail is missed this year by Sean Payton. So locked in. And that focus has been shown up to this point by the play and performance of this team.
He's special. There's no question about that. 2nd and 3.
Sproles is the back. It's 2 straight runs with Sproles. The last one was a quick hitter. Earl Thomas is up there at the line of scrimmage. How's he like 25 yards back there one play, and then the next play is up at the line?
Well, that time they brought him down and put Chancellor deep. But K.J. Wright, number 50, this outside linebacker extraordinaire, continues to crowd Jimmy Graham on the line of scrimmage and prohibit him from getting into his route. Let's see if the Saints open him up. Yes, they do.
Earl Thomas back in his office at the top of the screen. It is Sproles on a quick pitch to the left. He puts his head down and gets the first down. Shy midfield as his 3rd quarter comes to an end. Only points of the quarter scored by the Seahawks. Up 27 on Monday Night Football. Led by the Legion of Boom and lowering the boom. Seattle 34-7 in this matchup of 10-1 against 9-2. We start the 4th quarter here at CenturyLink Field. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters, and our Monday night team.
Look at these big guys for Seattle that come out onto the field. Meebane, Red Bryant, and McDaniel. If you want to play big on offense, Seattle can get real big on defense. Meebane, Bryant, and McDaniel make it hard to run the football.
Some shocking offensive numbers from the Saints so far. Breeze looked deep. It was covered. And back to Jimmy Graham in the middle. Finally some space as Graham gets to the 31-yard line. Cam Chancellor erased the end of the play with a big hit.
They blow the cover. Just a basic cross. There's nobody there. And watch this elusiveness after the catch. That's the 2nd time I've seen a Saints skilled receiver make a Seahawk miss in the open field. I saw Earl Thomas miss Sproles. Now Graham makes Sherman miss.
3rd catch for Graham. He's got a touchdown tonight. Back to Mark Ingram as the running back. Picked up the blitz very well. Breeze pumps, and the 2nd look is in and out of the hands of the tight end Benjamin Watson.
This K.J. Wright is something else. 6'4", 250-pound linebacker running with a tight end. You're going to see a seam ball right down the middle of the field, and K.J. Wright is going to turn and run with Benjamin Watson and make a play on the ball to boot. Watch him flip his head and get his arm around there just in time. It's K.J. Wright. He can do it in the box as a run defender. He's not afraid to run down the seam with these Saint tight ends.
And you saw Ingram with that pickup on Bruce Irvin, and the game stopped momentarily as Irvin limped off the field, favoring that left leg. Big linebackers, 6'4" and 6'3", Irvin and Wright, those outside linebackers. But on 2nd and 10, it is Breeze, again moved off the spot, throwing for Meacham. It's deflected by Maxwell and incomplete. Byron Maxwell running with Meacham.
Ball skills. Saints do a great job with their pass protection. They nudge these defensive ends before they release. They give their tackles some help, and Drew Brees has time to survey the defense, slide in the pocket, make an accurate throw, but Maxwell, late in the down, a trademark of these Seahawk corners, delivers again. What a play.
That's that length was so good when the ball's about to be caught. Play clock running down. Breeze able to get the timeout. A minute into the fourth, and everything is a chore for the Saints on offense.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Chili's new Chipotle Garlic Butter Steak. NFLShop.com. Free shipping and special holiday savings at the official store of the NFL. And Autotrader.com. Compare new and used cars at Autotrader.com.
Getting cold. Temperature in the 30s and plummeting in our area. Coverage tonight from Seattle. Brought to you by DirecTV. Saints down to one timeout, 3rd and 10. Pressure comes again. Breeze sliding off the spot. Beautiful throw to Kenny Stills. And the rookie's catch is a first down inside the 20.
What a play by Breeze. Free rusher in his face.
Really
The pass was incomplete. 4th down.
Look at it. Yep, good call. You know, Mike, you come here and you realize that the Seahawks came into this game giving up under 5 yards per pass play. That's unheard of. And Drew Brees tonight has 112 yards in 29 attempts. Remember, he's gone 43 straight games with over 200 yards passing. If you can shut down Drew Brees in this offense, throwing the football, you can shut down any offense.
A penalty flag has now been thrown from the back, as there was the confusion if that was a catch or the incompletion. It was initially marked the completion and going to be a first down, and then from the back.
There is no delay of game. We didn't let the team go because we were stretching out balls. It is 4th down. Reset the play clock to 25 seconds.
It's a good thing his microphone works tonight because he's given us some great interpretations.
Yeah, when Clete Blakeman, when everyone wanted a longer explanation a couple of weeks ago, Ed was glad that memo was sent out. He's glad to oblige. Need to get to the 22, keep this drive going, and Breeze taking a shot for Graham, incomplete. The combination of Chancellor and Wright force the Saints back to the bench.
Everybody said you better have Richard Sherman cover Graham, and they said, no, we're going to let all our guys have a shot at him. That's KJ Wright again, making a case for the Grinder Award tonight. How many linebackers go out there in one-on-one coverage with Jimmy Graham? Not many. And again, Chancellor with help over the top.
Talking about the passing yard struggle, John. Only 109 total passing yards for the Saints in net passing here tonight. And the point you made, they have 200 or more passing yards in each of their last 43 games. And tonight, when going for Jimmy Graham, it has been 4 no-goes and just the 3 completions for the 42, including that 1 touchdown. Flip it into the hands of Ricardo Lockett for a first down run that will lose a couple of yards. And to finish the thought on getting under 200 passing yards, and we'll see what happens when the Saints get the ball back at the end of the game. It's the longest streak for any team in the history of the NFL to be over 200 for 43 straight games.
Well, Sean Payton and Drew Brees have ripped the NFL apart since 2006. Drew Brees has more yards, more touchdown passes, more completions than anyone. This is a bump in the road tonight. For sure.
Robert Turbin is the running back. And on 2nd and 12, he'll run it inside. And Paris Harrelson, former 49er, makes the tackle. Are there larger questions about the Saints being able to take their passing offense on the road? It wasn't a perfect night tonight, but it wasn't awful weather conditions. Do you have any more questions about that after this game?
Well, their one-loss record on the road speaks for itself. They've been a good road team, but I think you have to look at what is the Saints record when the temperature or the wind chill is below 40 degrees? I went through this in Tampa. We didn't win a game in our franchise's history below 40 degrees until the year that we actually won the Super Bowl. But these are questions that you still have to, I think, answer.
3rd and 10, Wilson in trouble, and he is brought down. So Harrelson, who made the play on the run on 2nd down, comes up with the pressure and in on the sack of Wilson.
I think a big question for Sean Payton right now with a 34-7 game is you have a short week and you got a long flight home. And you have a team next week on Sunday Night Football, the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
I might pull Drew Brees out of this game and prepare for another day, because there is a lot of big football games left for the Saints.
Ryan with that knuckleball kick. He dies there at the 43. And how many return yards there?
Well, there's not going to be any on that.
No, there's not. And it stays at 15 for the entire season. It stays as a night of frustration. And the Saints offense, usually a smooth operating machine, stuck tonight. This is what John was talking about with what is ahead. The hottest team in the NFL having rolled off 8 in a row here, Carolina, twice in the next 3 games. And although the record with the Rams and the Buccaneers is below 500, we have seen them play in recent weeks. And you know, not an easy out with the pass rush off the edge from the Rams, and the way Mike Glennon and Levante David on the defensive side have led a little resurgence as Tampa had won 3 in a row until yesterday. Brees just throws the screen at the feet of Darren Sproles as it's incomplete. Zach Strief hurt on the last drive, the right tackle, getting his ankle x-rayed as that injury concern John alluded to continues here for New Orleans. Updating the Seattle side, their tight end Kellen Davis was hit in the helmet by that ricochet pass in the 3rd quarter. He's back in the locker room being evaluated for a concussion. Brees to Sproles. He is such a useful offensive weapon. So many different ways Sproles gets involved, although it has not been the case tonight.
Well, it's Bobby Wagner again limiting the yardage after the catch. You know, Darren Sproles and Pierre Thomas not only had 100 catches or more between the two of them, Pierre Thomas led the NFL in yards after the catch. There's been none tonight.
At 2 Sproles, the running backs have caught 9 of the Brees passes each tonight, those 2 main backs. And Wagner continues the chatting with that New Orleans sideline.
These running backs in New Orleans, they don't just run checkdowns. They run a number of different kinds of routes. Now you see Sproles split out as a wide receiver. He can run patterns from up there as well.
Caught by Colston. John here, looks like Seattle has dropped back with a couple of deep safeties and just let all the underneath stuff milk the clock down as we approach 10 and a half left here in the 4th quarter.
And Brees is relying on the quick game and this no-back set. That is a trademark of the Saints.
Jerron Johnson, backup safety, in for Seattle. As Sproles works the sideline, Malcolm Smith, 7th-round pick out of USC, throws him out of bounds. Speaking of USC, that's other big football news here as USC hired Steve Sarkisian, the coach of the University of Washington, today. Sarkisian, who was with Pete Carroll during Pete's USC days.
They're taking turns with the same pattern. Pierre Thomas and Sproles working against these outside linebackers of the Hawks. Pretty quick, Pete Carroll is going to blitz this no-back operation that the Saints have used for the last 5 plays.
On 3rd and 1, Brees gets pressured and he gets brought down by Michael Bennett. Bennett, who earlier on the deflection ended up getting the touchdown. Pass ruled incomplete.
There's nobody open because they drop an extra Seahawk into coverage, and you see Bennett working off Bryce Harris on the right side. There's nowhere for Brees to go, and Jimmy Graham is wondering where Clinton McDonald came from. 4th and 1.
Seahawks being given time to substitute, as the Saints did substitute. That's why the official was over the ball. Breeze will throw it on 4th and 1 for Graham. It's incomplete. And for the second time in as many drives, New Orleans cannot convert on a 4th down. And they remain stuck on 7. Great week of college hoops starts tomorrow night. Big Ten ACC Challenge. My basketball partner, Dan Dockich, waiting in Syracuse. We'll have Indiana-Syracuse from the Dome tomorrow night, and then Michigan against Duke. All the networks will have college hoops tomorrow night. Looking forward to that premier doubleheader in the Big Ten ACC Challenge tomorrow night here on ESPN. Robert Turbin with that run to the left and gains 2 yards. Russell Wilson and the things he does.
Well, he's got a quick release in the shotgun particularly. That ball's out fast. And his throwing mechanics, he's got that high elbow, over-the-top delivery. He senses passing lanes. His footwork, 3-step, 5-step, one-hitch deliveries. He can execute a lot of different kinds of passes. He's been well-trained back from his college days at North Carolina State, Wisconsin. And it's paid huge dividends. It's allowed him to explode onto the scene.
2nd and 7. That pass is deflected, which is rare. I shouldn't say rare, but rarer than you would think for a short quarterback. An incomplete. Cameron Jordan got the tip. So where is Wilson? It's 11th in the league. 1 pass deflected every 55 of his attempts. And immediately you would think with the shorter quarterback, that's concern number 1. How often do you get passes batted down? But for him, and he takes great pride in it, it usually doesn't happen, but did there.
No, he does not telegraph throws. A lot of these passes are batted down because defensive linemen read the 3-step drop. They know they're not going to get there, so they put their hands up. You can call J.J. Watt, Mike, and ask him about that.
3rd and 7, and that throw in the middle is open for Zach Miller. A 60-yard catch earlier, a touchdown earlier, and now a 1st down to milk more time off the clock.
The thing that amazes me is his vision in the pocket. I mean, these are big people rushing him. There's big people protecting for him. He's 5'11", whatever you want to call it. But he played behind those monsters in college. And Pete Carroll has surrounded him with some big linemen here in Seattle. And vision is not a problem. And clearly size is not the issue with Wilson.
Wilson now over 300 passing yards for the night. 308. Robert Turbin with his run to the 38-yard line. All right, so Mr. Quarterback Camp, let me ask you a question. You've seen Breeze, and you know what he can do, and now you see Wilson and what he is doing. Will you evaluate Johnny Football, other quarterbacks who are not prototypical height, a bit differently because of the success these players are having now?
Yeah, I sure am. And when you watch Johnny Football play, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to make that comparison right away. You go nowhere in this league without a quarterback. And right now, Drew Brees and Russell Wilson have opened the door for men of all sizes. I'm excited for them.
Turbin running to the left. It has been mostly Turbin here in this 4th quarter. Marshawn Lynch standing on the sideline and holding his helmet, so it's not an injury situation with Lynch. Meantime, John, you were alluding to this earlier. Would Drew Brees come back? Luke McCown is warming up on the New Orleans sideline. Brees is back up.
It's a long trip home to New Orleans. It'll be a 5-hour flight, maybe more. And again, it'll be a short week. You have the Carolina Panthers, another nationally televised game. And both teams will be 9-3. Don't get any more injuries. I think that's what's on Sean Payton's mind right now.
Saints have taken a timeout. It's their 3rd timeout. But really not a huge factor at this point, but they can't challenge any plays the rest of the way. Scott Van Pelt and John Butchergross, Mr. College Hockey, standing by in the studio. They'll anchor Sports Center from Bristol and across the country here in Seattle. Stuart Scott, Ray Lewis, Steve Young, Trent Dilfer will have the GMC post-game top plays of this NFL week. The Week 13 will be in the books, and Adam Schefter will have the latest as Mike Tomlin awaits the discipline of standing on the sideline there on Thanksgiving night, looking up at the big board on that Baltimore return. You ever been that close to a play?
I don't think I was that close. I jumped over a guy once.
And speaking of jumping, the defensive ends for New Orleans do there. It was 3rd and exactly 5.
Neutral zone infraction defense, number 94. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
This whole noise thing, John, and you have coached in the Superdome when you were in Tampa. You coached in Denver when you were coaching the Raiders. So you know about loud atmospheres. The communication factor is one thing. It just makes everybody a little more tense and a little more uptight as you go into a game. Here's the run by Turbin for 3.5 yards. Will teams be able to have a game plan to combat that when they come out here to play rest of the regular season, obviously in the playoffs as well?
Yeah, the noise is a big part of their success, but these players and the system of football that they use here is the big story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had a lot of noise here. When I was coaching the Raiders, we came out here and played in a place called the Kingdome.
Oh, yeah.
And then we came out here and played in a temporary stadium while they were building this place.
That's the
and
University
it was
of
loud.
Washington. Yeah.
But we were able to compete because they weren't as good then as they are now. These guys are really good.
Turbin, a couple of yards shy of the first down. Kenny Vaccaro makes the tackle. You talk about the old Kingdome, which used to stand. You know that they took the concrete, 100% of the concrete from the Kingdome, they processed it and recycled it and used about half of it in building this place. So they were environmentally sound.
How long have you been here, Mike?
John, it is a long flight, as you know. So you leave no stone unturned.
You got literacy stats. You've got loudness. You're in bands. You're listening to, I don't know, Mike. Worried about you.
I like the thing that they did with the start of the game where the fans chant Wilson, that Fish song that they have played for many years. This is such a neat vibe, and it starts with the team and the practices that go on as well. When you go to a Seahawks practice, just a good, fun vibe. It's a lineman lined up at the fullback spot as the run by Turbin is a yard shy of the first down.
Yeah, they put Sweezy, their starting right guard, at fullback. And they failed to block the backside. Here's an interesting story, though. Sweezy off the left side. They just don't cut off the backside. And there's penetration. It forces this 4th down and 1. Jumbo again. I expect Sweezy to be in the backfield. You see Jean-Pierre, number 61, is checked into the game. There's a lot of big linemen in here for Seattle. This is an offensive lineman's dream, to play fullback in a short yardage situation.
And Turbin gets the first down to the 44-yard line.
You know, this Pete Carroll has done a great job here, Mike. And the story coming in here was these suspensions, and Pete Carroll had to do something. They've had a number of Seahawk players get suspended, but they competed everything here. And there's extraordinary commitment amongst these Seahawk players. If Pete Carroll's guilty of one thing, he's just too compassionate for these Seahawks. He loves these players, and I can't fault them for that. He helps these players through tough times, and I think we need more guys like Carroll.
Back to the busy man of the hat. Turbin, you speak of the Walter Thurman 4-game suspension. That's for violating the league's substance abuse policy, and Brandon Browner appealing a reported 1-year suspension for being involved in the substance abuse policy. Now, again, that is being appealed, but Browner had served a 4-game suspension for performance-enhancing drugs before, and 5 different players were suspended since 2011 for performance-enhancing drugs. Now, these are different substance abuse policy violations. In on Thurman pending with the appeal on Browner. And Carroll did say, hey, they learned a lot when they ended up drafting Bruce Irvin out of West Virginia, who had his own problems. And that this offseason, as Derek Coleman carries to the left, that is tackled by Kenny Vaccaro, high but legal, that when Irvin was going through his issues, that Pete Carroll said was very educational in understanding how to keep these guys around. Now, you can say that if there's violations, you've got to take care of them, and you can't have the repeated ones because people start to question what's going on with your program. And Pete said his heart of compassion trying to turn young guys around before they get to the age of 25, something he experienced at SC and is trying to carry over here to Seattle. 3rd and 9, and Wilson on the throw. It is Luke Wilson. Rookie out of Rice, taken down low by Malcolm Jennings. It'll be 4th down, and it'll take us down to the 2-minute warning. 34-7. What a show by Seattle. Clearly atop the NFL right now. Seattle's lead going to be 2 on everybody else in the NFC. Up 2 with 4 to go. The head-to-head win here over the Saints. Of course, chasing from behind San Francisco. However, the Seahawks will clinch a playoff berth with a victory here tonight and move one step closer to taking a division title. And for Breeze and the Saints, as John said, not just the 9-3 in the long trip and the short week with Carolina. Waiting for him on Sunday Night Football. This is 4th down, and it's the Coleman toss to the sideline. Vaccaro almost pulled him down by a horse collar. But on downs, it will go over to New Orleans. Russell Wilson, 310 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That fumble lost by Breeze turned into a touchdown. Just 147 yards and a great hand from the Seattle fans for Wilson and the offense as they leave the field. And their tremendous effort here tonight. They honored Wilson, and the fans gave the cheer coming off. They put up on the board that they broke the Guinness Book of World Records sound mark. A big hand for that. Ingram runs as Luke McCown hands it to him. So John, the night for Breeze is done. And Drew Brees is under 200 passing yards here on the night as you look at McCown, who has not thrown an NFL pass in a couple of seasons. Was with Jacksonville in 2011, mop-up duty Atlanta 2012, and for a brief moment here this year with the Saints.
One of my old quarterbacks.
And we'll see his brother perhaps next week with Chicago. Josh McCown has done a good job.
So, you know, Seattle's got to go to San Francisco. And we just saw the 49ers. Crabtree's back. They'll at full force on offense.
It'll be a great game next week.
Defense is really good. So I can't wait for that 49ers-Seahawks game because those two teams hate each other. They really do. That's going to be a great one next Sunday.
That's some great viewing next Sunday. With that game, I think Joe and Troy are doing that game late Sunday. They'll get the Sunday night game that you're looking forward to watching. And then we'll have the Bears and the Cowboys on Monday night. So
what are they going to do?
Coming up.
What are they going to do with the cement at Candlestick when they tear that stadium down, Mike?
If you come back in 3 weeks, sir, for the last game at the Stick, I'll have that for you. Hey, just by the way, so Breeze under 200 yards. He had been 200 yards or more for 43 straight games. He's not going to get there tonight. And that will end his run. The NFL record for individuals throwing for 200 yards in consecutive games will remain with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts at 45. There's Fouts, just a couple of booths over from us, with our friend Kevin Harlan doing the national radio broadcast. Morstead with the punt. And it's fair caught. Seattle will take a knee and take this one, and it will be another victory for Russell Wilson. And it'll be his 22nd. And we'll bring him right to the top of that list for quarterbacks and their victories in the first couple of seasons of their NFL career. Ben Roethlisberger is the man with the 22 victories in those first 2 years. So they are tied for first in that column, and Wilson's got 4 more shots to break it. Impressive and dominant. Seattle is 11-1. And the first of those many big games in December and January, they answer the test. As Wilson defeats the team quarterback by the man he looks up to, Drew Brees. 34-7. The GMC postgame on SportsCenter is coming up next. And John Butchergross and Scott Van Pelt back in the studio with John Gruden, Lisa Salters, our entire Monday night team, Jay Rothman, Chip Dean, and everybody down in the trucks. Mike Tirico, so long from Seattle. Don't touch the remote. Here comes SportsCenter.